This is module number 2, Designing a Career Education Program, developed within the Prime project. This module focuses specifically on how to build career education activities with a strong focus on the methodological approach we followed in the Prime project. It will go through a short introduction focusing on career education and what it means. And then we will discuss and go through which are the learning outcomes for career education activities. We will explore the career management skills frameworks, which for us are a reference when we build career education activities. And then we will focus on specific specific career management skills area, which were very important for the Prime project. And we will go through a step-by-step guideline on how to build career learning activities for primary students. Everything starts with the idea that the future of work is something really unpredictable. We are living in this contemporary landscape, which is characterized by change, uncertainty, and we often use the acronym VUCA. Our times are volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And what we know is that children who are growing now will build their biographies in an environment characterized by change, chance, and uncertainty. And we know by research by the World Economic Forum that almost 2/3 of those who go now to primary school will end up working in jobs that currently do not exist yet. So the approach we propose within the Prime project is that when we think of careers, we cannot think of careers as a choice. So careers are not chosen once or in specific transition times of people's life. The careers are constructed, are built day by day. They are non-linear, they are full of opportunities, and transitions come day by day. And they can take infinite directions. So constructed rather than chosen. So within this idea, the term and the construct of career management becomes very important. This refers to the exercise of agency people do to build, to control, to manage, to proactively build their career. And to do so, we want to focus, we want to highlight this shift from the idea of career guidance activities as something that support choices during transition times to the approach based on pedagogical educational activity where we talk about career education. So if people need to build their career day by day, they will need the tools, they will need the competences, knowledge, skills, and attitudes that will enable them to handle, to manage, to proactively manage their life at any age, at any stage of their development. And therefore, people will need the skills, the tools to manage their learning and work-life paths. These set of tools is called career management skills, and this terminology comes from reference documents by the European Council, and there's a specific definition of these set of skills, which I'm going through in a second. But the core of our approach is on learning. So, career education is about supporting people to find out, plan for, and move into their life, learning, and work. And the aim of career education is to support the development of career management skills. Throughout, all over the world, career management skills are a range of competencies which provide structured ways for individuals and groups any age to gather, analyze, synthesize, and organize self-educational and occupational information, as well as the skills to make and implement decisions and transitions. So this is the definition by ELGPN, developed in 2010, and it is a strong reference today as well. And based on this definition, many different countries have worked to create a career management skills framework, a reference framework to be used as a foundation, as a baseline for building career education activities. In our case, in the Prime project, we refer to the framework developed within a project called Careers Around Me project, where six different areas of career management skills were defined. In particular, within the Prime project, we focus on two main areas, which you will see within all the project results. In particular, we will focus on the area called exploring new horizons, and on the area called managing, monitoring, and reflecting on my experience. These two areas are particularly at the core of the project Prime. The area called Exploring New Horizon is about exploring career opportunities and understanding the complexity of the socioeconomic scenario, including reflecting on ethical and sustainable impact of career choices. In particular, this set of skills has three main learning outcomes, which are understanding careers and the labor market, understanding complexity, and ethical and sustainable thinking. The other main area of skills which has guided the Prime project refers to an area called monitoring and reflecting on your experience, on your learning experience. So, since the future of work is constantly changing, it is necessary for students to be able to activate themselves, to monitor and reflect on past experiences in order to design the future. So, learning to attribute meaning to past experiences, both positive and negative, is very important for planning, designing, and redesigning one's life, study, and work goals. So, this area focuses on the individual's active engagement in monitoring and reflecting on the career path, on results of learning and achievements. So, while for older students, this encompasses a variety of sub areas, with primary school children, this opens up the possibility to help them reflect on their learning achievements and help them link the achievements to future perspectives. In particular, this area relates to the ability to analyze the skills required to act a certain role or to accomplish a certain task at school. When we build career learning activities, we can follow this process. So first, we define the learning objectives. In the realm of pedagogy, particularly in the context of career education, the design of an activity involves a thoughtful and strategic approach, and we here need to define the specific learning outcomes or objectives we expect. These outcomes define the conceptual framework for what learners are intended to get, to obtain, to acquire. And then we begin with the formulation, with the definition of learning outcomes or objectives of the activities. And we reflect on the essential knowledge or skills we want students to obtain. In our case, the learning objectives refer to the career management skills areas I just presented. Once we have defined the learning objectives, we then move on to the creation of a resource. This step has to do with building a means to transfer the learning component. But to do so, we can create different ways, different resources such as text, videos, lectures, visual representations, and we can choose the format of the resource based on the way we want to communicate. But building a resource is not sufficient, is not enough. It is in fact fundamental to recognize that the act of resource creation in itself does not represent an educational activity. So the true educational engagement is very important. So we want students to actively interact with the resources. And this is a transformative moment. And this means that there's a transition from a passive reception of information to an active and participatory learning experience. So, with this type of pedagogical approach, we carefully articulate the learning objectives, we strategically create diverse educational resources, and we set up, we plan for a meaningful engagement of the students with the resources to foster a dynamic and participative learning environment. This phase of the process has to do with the construction of an activity which is designed to actively engage the learners. This interaction involves students in discussion, in information sharing. There are different possibilities of having them engaged with the resources, and interaction is one of them. So we can use the dimension, the group dimension, to promote the engagement with the resource and to move on with the reflection. Um, at this stage, we can add an assessment, a moment for assessing the learning process. And for this, I remind you to the module on assessment career education activities.